Asians United Assembly. My name is Rita and I'm a senior and I'm the president of Asians United this year.
I'm Sophie, I'm a junior and I'm the VP.
My name is Frank and I am a senior this year. I am the performances director for Asians United.
Asians United serves to support the education and celebration of Asian cultures. And our goal is to build a diverse community at Hume-Fogg full of diverse perspectives, heritage, and perspectives.
Today we're celebrating Lunar New Year, which was yesterday. It marks the beginning of the New Year based on the lunar calendar, and it's celebrated by over 2 billion people around the world.
Friends and family gather for feasting and festivities in China, Vietnam, Korea, and many other Asian countries.
And we are thrilled to have you all here today, and we invite you all to celebrate Lunar New Year with us. So please, enjoy the show!
把习惯被依赖。你给我这一辈子都不想是恋爱，相信爱的征途就是新鲜大海，美好剧情不会更改，是命运最好的安排。你给我这一辈子都不想是恋爱，就算你的呼吸匀在青山之外，请你相信我给的爱值得你爱。走过陪你看流星的天台，熬过失去你漫长的等待。哦，好担心没人懂你的无奈，离开我谁还把你当小孩？猜你一定也会想念我，只怕我失落在茫茫人海。没关系，只要你肯回头望，会发现我一直都在。你给我这一辈子都不想是恋爱，你的每条信息都是听条节拍，每秒都想拥你入怀，全世界你最可爱。你给我这一辈子都不想是恋爱，就算你的呼吸匀在青山之外，请你相信我给的爱值得你爱。
Next up, we're really grateful to have been able to interview fellow Hume-Fogg alum Suzanne Park. She is a Korean-American author who was born and raised in Tennessee.
She graduated from Columbia University and received an MBA from UCLA, and she has published 4 books so far, and her 5th book, The Christmas Clash, is coming out this fall.
We have 2 more shows after our interview with Miss Park, so please stay tuned for those.
And we just wanted to take this time to thank the administration for allowing us the time and space for this assembly to happen, Mr. Collins, who's organizing it, all the officers.
My name is Suzanne Park. I am a Korean-American author who was born and raised just in the outskirts of Nashville in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And I started my official author journey as a debut author in 2020, so just 2 years ago, and I released a book featuring a Korean-American protagonist named Nate Kim. And after this book came out, my second book, my second young adult book, Sunny Song Will Never Be Famous, came out last year. also featuring a Korean American protagonist. So I've had a pretty long, windy path to get to authoring, which we could talk about later, but I started off pre-med and sort of ended up here. So I'm sure there are probably lots of questions about that, and I have answers, but I didn't actually know kind of what I wanted to do, and it took a while to kind of figure it out, but I am glad that I ended up where I am now, because I have a ton of stories that are all up here, and I would love to get as many down as I can, and talk about the Asian American experience as I know it, and also share experiences that are just within my family and really close friends, and share, you know, what I know of how it is to be growing up Asian in America.
Switching from pre-med to like creative writing, did you ever have any like doubts about it, or did your parents ever doubt you, other people ever doubt you, and how did you combat that?
Yeah, so when I was actually taking pre-med classes, I got through the first year where they had general chemistry as being the big leader class, and then that summer I actually got an internship at Vanderbilt, I don't remember which department it was, but it was, they dealt with neurology and things. So I was like really lucky to land this lab opportunity that was paid, and thought, you know, I'm on the track. And the classwork and coursework itself wasn't necessarily clicking with me anyway, but then I thought if I was in a hospital, I would have a really good experience. So this is where I veer off track. One of the first weeks I was there, I actually got on the freight elevator, which was for employees only, at Vanderbilt Hospital, stepped on the elevator when it opened, and I ran into a body that was leaving the morgue. And so that was a wake-up call, because the guy was like, what's the big deal? It's just a dead body. And at that time, I was, 19 years old. It was just a huge dose of reality at the time, because it's true that like later on in med school, this was something you would see. And I don't know if it was serendipity or just really bad luck or whatever, but I really did not enjoy that experience. So that really was the first kind of aha moment where I was thinking, like, if I can't even handle being like anywhere near this corpse, this is probably not going to be something that I enjoy. And I did not, again, it was one of those things that sticks with you. And so when I went back to school, I started taking other classes, and I just realized that overall it wasn't the best course for me. And I think telling my parents was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was to say, by the way, I don't think this is going to work out for me. But what I did do while I was working in the lab, realizing this is a short-term gig because I don't think I'm going to be doing medicine after this, was kind of thinking about what I did want to do afterwards. And because, again, at the time I was kind of only looking just ahead, at sort of just over the horizon and not really far in the future looking, I ended up looking for kind of thinking about careers that really took to my strengths, but also might be something that I could make money off of. And one of the things that came to me was the world of advertising. And that was a career that I actually ended up in for a long time after I graduated. Even after many years of being in advertising, I did pivot again and go to business school after that.
And then, so how did you finally kind of become an author and start writing books? And like, what kind of inspires you to create these stories?
So throughout college, and I really realized that one of the things I loved to do was to tell stories and make people laugh. And so when you go to a school, you're figuring things out, right? You're figuring out who your friends are, what your interests are, and maybe what your career is. While I was working, I ended up at night taking evening creative writing classes, specifically humor writing, because I knew that's where I wanted to focus my time. And from there, I ended up writing personal essays, taking classes in personal essay writing and memoirs. And after writing that, and then trying out a class at UCLA Extension when I was just after I graduated from business school. I tried TV, script writing, things like that. And then when I decided to actually write a collection of personal essays, I finished a small collection and then tried to send it out to literary agents. And one agent in particular is super helpful, and she actually told me that some of these stories could actually be fictionalized and had I considered writing a novel. And that was the first time it clicked, where I was thinking, oh, for this whole time I thought I had to write what was real and true and like happened, and maybe add a humor to the situation. It never occurred to me that I can just make something up. And so at that point I realized that there's a whole other side to writing that I hadn't really explored. So I did try to write my first novel in 2016.
I was just wondering then, like, what's your process when it comes to writing? How do these ideas just come up?
A lot of the ideas are usually nuggets from a real life funny thing, or something I'll watch on TV, or some idea I'll have that could be what could take it to the next level and make it so much worse. And so, usually that leads to better, higher stakes, more conflict, and I love those types of books. Just an example for this book, The Perfect Escape. This idea came because I actually went to a zombie escape room, and I remember thinking the host was being very patient when he told us that we were the worst team he'd ever seen ever perform in the zombie escape room. He was like, we died right away. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm taking your money back, but you're like the only ones who never finished the first clue. And it was just a mess, but it was hilarious because of how bad we were. And I remember thinking, like, that would be funny if there was a meet cute in the zombie escape room, because that would just mean that whoever's into it would be really into zombies and also find another person really into zombies. And that's where that idea had even come about.
What inspired you to have all Asian American characters in your books?
I wanted to write books that reflect who I am, and also characters I had never seen growing up. And so when I write my young adult books, as you can see, these main characters are Korean American. It was really important to me to not only just see people who reflect my own life, but also represent other parts of Asian culture that might not be, the nuances that might not get picked up if it was a writer that was not Asian American.
Just going back to kind of your experience at Hume-Fogg, I want to ask, like, what was the greatest lesson you yourself learned? And if you have any advice you would give to current Hume-Fogg students or Asian American high school students today?
One of the things that I would say is some of my deepest friendships and most meaningful friendships came from Hume-Fogg. Even if you don't talk to them every day or even every month, year, you still have those bonds that you guys can all relate to. One of the big lessons is that where you think you are now might not be where you actually end up, and you should take this time to enjoy your time at Hume-Fogg. In college, explore and ask questions and really try to take advantage of that time too, because there's still time to figure it out. Even, again, I'm a late figure-outer person. I didn't realize until 2020 when this book was published that this is something that I actually want to do for a living, even though I did enjoy my corporate career as well. And then you will see friends doing different things, and it looks like people are ahead of you, people are, kind of moving faster or passing you by, and everybody has their own journey. And so just keep that in mind too, that even though you're all graduating together, everybody will be on their own path, going at their own pace.
you.